Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. This is another of my short stories of the type that's in my new book, Soloists. This one is called My Life's Favorite Moment. I didn't want the kids to know that I was watching them play touch football on the street. So every afternoon after school, which is when I knew they played, I just walked slower as I passed by, sometimes pretending to look at the gardens in front of the houses. It didn't take more than a few of those strolls to see that one kid was the worst player. On those rare times that a quarterback threw to him, he'd usually drop the ball. On the rarer times that he got to play quarterback, his arm was weak and inaccurate. And today, when they chose sides, he didn't even get picked. And he slung on his heavy backpack filled with so many textbooks that they stuck out at the top. When I used to coach, my focus was on finding the best, spending more of my time helping the best make the most of their talent. Yet now, I found myself attracted to this kid, the worst. But what the hell could I coach him on? Be a kicker? Actually, yeah, a field goal kicker. But could I actually help him? Would he want help? Maybe he'd even be offended that I offered. But this would be the time. He was walking away almost right past me. Hey, kid. Yeah? I know this seems weird, but I was a former assistant football coach at the high school, and I've been watching you guys. I think you have the potential to be a field goal kicker for the high school team. Why would you think that? 2 reasons. You're persistent. You keep coming out even though you're bad, picked last, and get made fun of. Field goal kickers need persistence. You know, practice, practice, practice. More important, you're amazingly calm. When you screw up, or even when a player razzes you, you stay calm. That's the most important thing in a field goal kicker. A stadium full of fans screaming and you have to be ice, calmly doing your kicking ritual as though the stadium were empty. And Brandon's eyes widened. I don't need money. I'm just looking for something meaningful to do. Would you like me to coach you a bit? I don't know. Maybe try one short lesson and we'll see how it goes? Brandon's face softened, but nervous, embarrassed, he said, I have to do my homework. I can see you're pretty studious. Your backpack was the most packed of all the kids. But if you had been picked, you would have stayed to play. Brandon blushed at having been gotten and said, I guess we can try it, but where? I don't want the kids to see. Well, we can walk to the high school field. It's summer. It's empty now. There's no need to bore you with the details, but long story short, I taught him the field goal kicking technique, and then he practiced with ever longer field goals. Actually, we started with the point after touchdown, just 13 yards, then 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45. By the end of the summer, Brandon could make 80% from 40 yards out and 60% from 45 yards out. So I could honestly suggest he try out for the high school junior varsity, if he wanted to. He did, just asking if I could sit in the stands to watch. Well, normally tryouts are closed, but as a former assistant coach there, I was confident the coach would allow it. In fact, the coach did allow me to sit next to him on the bench. Brandon made 2 of 2 at 25 in the tryout, then 2 of 2 at 35. Then the coach pushed it to 45. Brandon looked at me for just a moment. Longer would have made us both more nervous. He missed the first by a lot, but then took 3 deep breaths and made the second, barely. He, of the don't show emotion school, just smiled at me, and I mirrored him. Right then, the coach told him that he had made the team. He would be the backup field goal kicker on the junior varsity. We went out for ice cream, and what surprised me was what he said he was most looking forward to, putting on the uniform. He said, "It'll make me feel good that I belong to something not academic. I'm tired of being just a class brainiac." I went to every game, but the first-string kicker was pretty good, and Brandon just sat on the bench. Then on one Saturday morning, Brandon phoned me to say that the coach had just called him to say that the first-string kicker was at a party last night, and to show off to a girl he was trying to impress, while holding a drink, he jumped from the second-floor apartment into the swimming pool. Except that he didn't quite make it. His kicking leg hit on the edge of the pool, and he sprained his ankle. The doctor said he'd be out for just one game, but for today's game, the coach said I would be the field goal kicker. Not every game requires a field goal kicker. Sometimes the team makes touchdowns or is too far for a field goal, but I was hopeful. I sat in my usual spot in the stands, and although Brandon's team was way behind, in the fourth quarter there was the first field goal situation, a 42-yarder. Brandon looked down, not at the players, certainly not at me, just at the ball. He took those 3 breaths, followed the technique, and the ball went up and through the uprights. Then, before he even looked at the players or the coach, he looked at me and nodded. That thank you is my life's favorite moment. Anyway, that short story is called My Life's Favorite Moment. It's of the type that's in my book Soloists, which is subtitled Short Stories of Introverts and Outsiders Facing a Dilemma. I welcome you checking it out on Amazon. I also welcome your thumbs up on this video and accept your thumbs down. I look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact, and certainly I'm flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel. I think there's a subscribe button up there. And in any event, I do thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.